Hey everyone. Yeah, this is through audio. So I'll have a picture up there so you guys can see it. Um, but I thought I'd come on here and kind of answer the question you see down below. Um, basically, here, let me turn the camera on so you can see it as well. But basically, it's a question that a lot of people have, and it's not the first time this question has been asked or anything. It's like I said, it's not the first time this question has been asked. Well, actually, I think it is the first time because when you go to the site that I have the links for in the description, basically it's a question I think anybody has. It's more along the lines of people want to know whether or not um, Sparity will happen. And what Sparity is, in case you guys don't know, is it's short for spike and rarity. And for those in the MLP community, um, this is something that has been going on since the show began. A lot of people have, I mean, basically, you can thank the show. As a matter of fact, you can actually thank the show for this because the show basically the show basically threw it right at us, if you will. Right from the beginning, when you have Spike meeting Rarity for the first time, it's like they just went with it, and uh, basically, basically by going with it, it kind of opened the door for a lot of fans to speculate on on a lot of things. Uh, it helped fans, like I said, speculate on a lot of things. And it really wasn't explored much, really, until towards the end. Uh, if you look at a Dog and Pony show, that kind of shows you that Spike likes Rarity more than just as a friend, and you can kind of tell that Rarity knows this. And it wasn't explored till later on, until about a season later, with the secret of my excess, and it was right towards the end of that. It was at the beginning and then towards the end of it that you kind of got the idea that yeah, the Hasbro knew what they had created, and I think the secret of my excess was their way of acknowledging it. And there was always hints here and there throughout the series run. The series would uh, go back and forth on it all the time, and by going back and forth, they basically, like I said, left the door open uh, for this potentially to occur, and and it's really brought to the forefront a lot of speculation of will it happen. I mean, um, again, it brought up a lot of speculation of will it really happen, and it makes because like I said, you have all these hints here and there of it happening, and a lot of fans wanting to know about it. A lot of fans wanting to know more about it, and a lot, again, you had a lot of speculation. A lot of people wanted to know more about it. Um, they wanted to know, would we get more background on it? Will we get more explanation on it? You know, would you know, would we get an episode? Well, finally, I guess you could say Rarity acknowledge it. I mean, Rarity knows. I mean, according to the show, she pretty much, according to the show, the comics, and all that, she pretty much knows about Spike's crush. She pretty much knows that. But one thing a lot of people have noticed throughout is, whether or not the crush is wearing off. Is it kind of coming to an end, and is it pretty much done, if you will? People want to know. Is it? People want to know. Is it done? Is Hasbro trying to get away from it? And I don't think Hasbro's trying to get away from it. Honestly, I think honestly Hasbro's trying to maybe slowly, push slowly. I'm okay. How do I put this? And this is live, so I'm gonna mess up a little bit. So I do apologize. The way I see it is, I think Hasbro pretty much um, is going to they're gonna have to do something, because fans are going to be like, you know are going to be keep asking this. I mean, one thing fans have acknowledged, some fans have the their opinions on this, is the fact that Rarity is older is old enough to look at him as a little brother, and he's young enough to look at her as a little sister. And I don't disagree with that at all. I mean, one of the things that and I do apologize for a lot of what was going on. I was trying to link up this live feed on Facebook and on the MLP forums, so where the topic's at, so people could watch it from there. Um, but like I said, it's I don't think it's I don't think honestly um, I don't think really honestly it's done. I mean, I think we're kind of getting away from the Sparity deal for right now, but I think there's still one more run with it. I think there's still one more run within it to satisfy the fans. And a lot of the thing is, when people ask, you know, will this ever happen? Like, the question is kind of the topic here. The title is in quest. The title of this live feed is in the form of a question, but it's a hybrid of both, of two questions, and that is, will it happen, and will it end? As much as I like to support Rarity and Spike, I think it's going to end eventually, but I don't think it's going to end until we at least get something out of it that I think a lot of fans are going to enjoy. I think what's going to happen, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, I think honestly, um, you're going to have a story come up, because this is the way I looked at it, and this is how I explained it. I think what needs to be done, whether it's in the later half of season 7, in the upcoming season 8, or if heck, if it's even in um, future seasons, if they decide, in my opinion, as I've mentioned before, they decide to go a decade's worth. Um, I think honestly they have to. How do I put this? They need to basically do an episode where at least you get it out. At least you acknowledge the Sparity support. You acknowledge the Sparity the reality of the Sparity fan base. And I think what they need to do is they need to do a story where it's kind of like a follow up, maybe several seasons later, but it's kind of like a follow up to Secret of My Excess, and it's Spike's birthday again. Instead of him going all greedy and monstrous like he did in the first one, you kind of have Twilight ask him what he would like to have for his birthday, and when he mentions he would like to have at least one day, one night, one day, to spend, to go out and spend with Rarity, go out and go out to dinner or brunch, go out and catch a show, and just spend time together, just for one time only, knowing that he may never get another chance, and to do it in a way that doesn't involve digging, looking for gems, or looking, going on a mission, or being sent on a mission by the cutie map, but just a regular going out, get together kind of thing with her. And again, it's knowing, and he would basically tell Twilight, hey, I know it's going to probably be my only chance, but I'd like to get this done. I would like to make it happen. So I think, honestly, what they would have to do story-wise is, again, you have him acknowledge this to Twilight, and then you have Twilight decide, you know what, I think I know what could help you, and you have her go and get this book of transformations. And now she knows how to do a transformation spell. I mean, we've seen her do it to herself and the other main six in the episode where they temporarily became breezies. We know it's going to happen in the film. We've seen the fact that she can inhabit and turn herself into different objects and things to help people out, or at least put her inside of it, or put her inside these objects and things. And I think what needs to happen is she needs to come up with a spell that allows Spike, at least for 24 hours a day, to become a pony. Now, a lot of people, I brought this up, and a lot of people thought, and a lot of people, and some people responded. I brought this up at the forums and stuff, and a lot of people pretty much said, "Oh yeah, that could happen, but he'd just be a filly, it'd be nothing else." And I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm not disagreeing with the fact that he would be a filly or anything. What I'm saying is, because that's everybody's right, but you want to believe that that's your right, because you take a look at how he was turned into a dog in Equestria Girls. You take a look at he's supposed to be like a puffer fish or something in the movie, and I can understand and relate to how people feel about that. But when I look at how this show sometimes will cater to the fans and say, and give the fans something to say, okay, at least you acknowledged us. I look at them doing an episode with Twilight, giving Spike that one-time opportunity to be a pony, but not doing it in a way that would turn him into a filly. As a matter of fact, if you put in Sparity on Google, and then if you want to put underline MLP or Sparity MLP, you will see pictures in the image sections, and one of them has Spike as basically a full-grown stallion. It's a picture of him and Rarity is blushing because she's surprised at what Spike's become. And so I think if they can do something along those lines, I think it could really work, because again, you could have your opinion on the fact that he would be nothing more than a filly, but my thought process on it is, you need to go in a direction that pretty much says, as transformation spells don't necessarily mean you're going to be this or you're going to be that. I think what needs to happen is they need to do an episode where, again, she does the transformation spell on him. He becomes a pony, a full grown pony, not a filly. She comes up with an idea to surprise Rarity. Explain the Spike's wish, one birthday wish, to Rarity, and Rarity's cool with it and everything. But even she acknowledges, similar to what Spike would acknowledge, that okay, it would be only for one time. Basically, Rarity would be cool with it. She would be cool with it, but she would also acknowledge that yeah, that's nice to do and everything. I'm cool with that, but she would also point out it'd be kind of odd for her to uh, be um, out and about with a dragon, you know, having dinner, going to a show, and spending time together, basically going on a date, especially a little dragon. But then that's when you have Twilight say, mention to Rarity, I've come up with a situation for that. I've come up with a solution. You have her bring Rarity out. You have her maybe cover her eyes with a blindfold or something because, yeah, covering her eyes with just one of her hooves makes her walking awkward, making her walk very awkward, I should say. But basically, you have Rarity come out blindfolded, and then you say, "Okay, open your eye." Okay, she takes the blindfold off Rarity and say, "Okay, you can open your eyes." And then out comes Spike, and in Rarity, just like she kind of was in a Dog and Pony show when she first saw Sapphire Shores in her store. You have her kind of be in complete shock, if not blush a little bit, when she sees Spike in pony form approach her and say hello to her, say hi, it's me. And, she's just shocked a little bit, blushing a little bit. And after she kind of comes out of that shock, she kind of blushes. And again, she's still blushing. It's like she kind of says hi to him too. And then maybe if you want to put a little cartoony effect in there, you kind of have like little hearts around them and all that. So you kind of acknowledge, or maybe one big heart in the background of them on the side. So you kind of acknowledge that yes, there is something there. It only took Spike being transformed temporarily into a full-grown stallion for that to be acknowledged, for that to happen. And again, I think it could work. I think people would get a kick out of it if they went in this direction. And you kind of play in the trope of the Cinderella deal because you give Spike 24 hours. So after the 24-hour time limit is up, yeah, you start to see him slowly transform a little bit. He spends one last time with Rarity in pony form before he starts to slowly transform. Maybe you get a kiss on the lips between the two, before it ends, and then you kind of have both acknowledge, sort of like in a split screen, that there is something that maybe there's something there more between them than friendship. And again, even though it'd be like maybe just for one time, and it may never happen again, you leave the door open for maybe the fans to explore it further in their own fanfics, fan art, fan animations, or you even leave the door open for potential future stories in the comics, the books, or even future episodes. Again, like I said, if the show goes for another few seasons. But yeah, you leave that door open, even though you don't go in that direction, you don't explore it for quite some time. At least you leave that door open, and you're acknowledging, if you're Hasbro and DHX and the writing staff, the creative staff on the show, you're acknowledging that there is something there between the two that is more than friendship. And like I said, you put that split screen down where you both have them looking at it, maybe a picture they took, and you kind of have them both acknowledge that maybe there's something more there than friendship. And I know I repeated myself there. I do apologize, but I think it could really work. I think it could really, uh, I think it could be really something that fans would get a kick out of. I don't think anybody would be against it. Even those that feel it'd be a little strange may even support it as well because they'd be like, oh, wait a minute, they, you know, DHX, Hasbro, the creative staff and all them, they found a way around that. They found a way around to make it work, and this would be the way to make it work. So, um, I think it could I think it could work. I mean, I don't think there's any doubt in my mind that it wouldn't work. I don't think there's any real doubt that it wouldn't work. I mean, if the show is going to be ending in the next couple of seasons, if it goes up to a decade's worth, then then if I'm the writing staff, no matter if Megan's back, Megan McCarthy's back, Jason Teresa's back, no matter who they are, they need to explore this. They need to go in this direction, get it out of the way, and then move forward. I think they really do. Um, as far as will it ever end, that's depending, on what the writing staff does. I mean, if you do this one episode, this one idea, this one story plot or storyline, then yeah, if it's going to end, go ahead and end it. Maybe by at least acknowledging that there's something there, and then maybe you can have them move on to other things. Maybe you can have Spike move on to Ember. Maybe you could have Rarity move on to a new pony or whoever she gets hooked up with. But at least you acknowledged before those events that something that was there between them. So honestly, in my opinion, I think it's got to happen. I think it's got to occur. No doubt about that. Hold on. No doubt about that. I think it's got to occur. Really, it's got to occur. Um, basically it's got to occur once in a while. It's got to happen. I mean, um, you cannot you cannot do an episode. You can't. This is the way I look at it. You cannot end the show entirely unless you dive in on this. And again, if it ends, it ends. And again, that's totally up to the writing staff. That's totally up to creative if they want it to end or not. But I think honestly, they need to go in the direction that it needs to go in. It needs to have this feel of because I think for completion's sake, the writers need to have the feel that they've touched upon everything that they want to do and mostly what the fans want to see happen. They need to touch base on everything, and doing it with the Sparity deal, at least with an idea like this, and then moving forward afterwards is the best way to do it. So, do I think it will happen? Honestly, if they go with a storyline like what I've suggested or similar, I think it could. Heck, I've even thought about something when I watched the main attraction, the ending of that. I think they could do an ending like that too, where you have this stuck-up guy that Rarity's falling for that always dismisses Spike as a nobody and all that, and even kind of bullies Spike a little bit, even saying that someone like Rarity would never go out with someone like him on a date or even fall in love with him. And then maybe you could have Twilight do what she did in the main attraction, and that's kind of record it with her magic and then film it and then show it where right in front of Rarity, and the guy in front of Rarity and this jerk, and then you have Rarity stand up for the fact that he's wrong. She would that he's wrong, and that she wouldn't have a problem going out with Spike and all that. So they could do something like that, and that would work too. I think. Um, Overall, I think they just need to touch base upon this in some way. They need to do it in some way that I've suggested, or any kind of other way that it's done. That they can get it out of the way. They can get it done with. They give the fan base something to actually enjoy, even those that may not support it. And then again, like I said, they just go from there and um, see what happens. So. But that's just my thing. I think it's going to happen, but I think it's got to have the right storyline to happen, even if it's a one-time deal. And if it ends, at least you got this storyline, you got this question that the fans have. At least you got it out of the way, and a lot of people will enjoy it, would be satisfied with it, in my opinion. So uh, that's all I'm going to say. So let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like. Thank you for tuning in live. But yeah, I think it will happen. But like I said, it's gonna have to take the right story to do it. Maybe what I've suggested or other people suggested. And will it end? Possibly. But again, I think it's only going to end once they touch base upon this. and go from there. So let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like. I am out. Thank you all for watching.